welcome to the good day, everyone, and welcome to the first section of the summer skill acquisition course or training, as it may be. And today, I would like to welcome our first speaker, being the week one of the training. So please, I would like to introduce our first speaker in person of Mr. Stanley Anokwacha Peters. Is an accomplished academician and a professional with a strong background in public administration and human resource management. He holds a national diploma, NDC, in public administration and management from the Institute of Management and Technology in Nigeria. Is someone speaking? Please, can we get muted? Thank you. He also graduated with upper credit at the stage. And then he furthered his education at Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, Umudike, where he earned a first class in Bachelor of Science degree in Industrial Relations and Personal Management. He was recognized as the best graduating student and appointed as an academic staff member of the university. Currently, Stanley is pursuing a Master's of Public Administration degree at Northern Illinois University in the United States, while serving as a graduate, while serving as a GA and RA in the Department of Public Administration. So please, without further ado, I would like us to welcome Mr. Stanley as he starts his presentation. Mr. Stanley, you are welcome, and thank you so much for this section.
Yeah, thank you, Linda. Thank you that introduction. I felt like I'm on top of the world when you were making those introductions. Nothing is there. Yeah, we thank God. So, my people, I welcome you guys to the first segment of this summer skills acquisition program. That is just something we just decided to craft out to assist our followers, because we have seen that a lot of people are following us in different platforms. So we decided to do this program in this summer to assist and equip you guys with the current realities, and then equip you guys with some kind of skills you would require when applying for admissions and scholarships abroad. Because we know that very soon, by between August, September, October, November, that will be another period of applications, and a lot of people will be applying. And we selected some of these things, some of these areas, because these are the most important aspects of your application. Now, we just want to have this 6 weeks program, and we are hoping that at the end of this 6 week program, we'll be able to impact a lot of people, be able to pass message on you guys, and then you guys can learn and know some of the things we have done based on our own experiences, because all of us, we passed through this level before we got to where we are today. So, and before we got to this level, we actually followed a lot of people online, and they trained us. So they trained us, and now we are training others. So, and it's part of what Education African Scholars Forum is meant for. So we today, okay, this program is gonna be 6 weeks, like you all know. Every week we come, so we come and then we train for that week, and there will be speaker for each of the week. So by next week, okay, today I'm taking you guys on structuring your academic and professional CV, and then by next week, Obinna Ezebekwe, who is a PhD student at NIU, he will take us on research proposals, and for those who are applying for masters and PhD programs. And then Linda, my MC, she will take us on email, professional email, writing professional emails to professors, because it's one of the major aspect of graduate admissions. Then by the fourth week, we're going to invite a data analyst. A data analyst is very good in data, Eric, because there is no research you can do this in this world without data. So we'll take us some basic data analysis. And then by the fifth week, we'll invite Good Luck. Good Luck is the co-host of this program, and also co-founder of Edward Free Scholars. So we invite him to speak on the fifth week. And then the last week, we are going to invite one of the strongest Commonwealth Share Scholar, who is Samuel. He is in UK. So as you can see, we have a lot of programs we have outlined, and we are hoping that at the end of this program, people will learn. And we are going to send kind of a survey to all the participants of this program. And so I will get your response, because at the end of the day, we will do a kind of analysis and know those who have actually gotten something. We did something like this sometime in October last year. We organized a similar program, and a lot of people through that program gained admission and scholarships. Currently, most of them, some of them are already in the US, some are planning to come, some will be here by August. Most of the people that participated in our last program. So each time we try to bring out something, and then we are hoping that this one will help in the next academic session to get some people to different countries. So I welcome all of you to this, and I want to kind of share the screen. Right. I think we are good to go. So so this week we are taking structuring an academic and professional CV. You know, like I said, CV is one of the most important aspects of your graduate admissions applications and even scholarships. And also, even looking for jobs, your CV is number one thing that is required. Now, structuring your CV in a way, it's in a professional manner, it's one of the hardest part of graduate admissions applications. So I think people, when applying, you need to learn this, so that, because your CV gives them a summary of whom you are. So in writing CV, there is something, you know, a lot of people don't know this, that there is a difference between resume and then CV. Your resume is just a concise document that highlights your basic skills, qualifications, work experience, and education. Because it's just a kind of, your resume should be like just a 1 to 2 pages. But your CV is a more comprehensive document that provides details of your academic and professional history. So resume is just a kind of a summary of whom you are. But your CV carries a lot of information about you. It has many other relevant information. So it is more encompassing in nature. Resume is also tailored towards a specific job. Please, can you mute yourself? Once you just come in, mute yourself. So, so your resume is tailored towards a specific job or a specific application. When you are applying for something specifically, you tailor your resume down to what you're actually looking for. There are some experiences that are not required to be in your resume. For instance, if you're applying to an industry, an IT industry, you don't need to bring in your job experiences in, let's say, academia. Maybe you worked as a lecturer, or you worked in other places. So you need to bring in some work experiences which you had recorded in probably in an IT company, or you have probably been in some kind of IT department before. Tell them that you actually have what do you call it? You actually have a background in that area. Now, on the other hand, your CV includes your education, research, publications, presentations, awards, and affiliations. Because your CV it contains more information about you. You bring in all your research, the publications you have made, the presentations you have made. Maybe you have presented a paper in a conference. These are the things that should be in your CV. It shouldn't be on your resume. Yeah. So awards are also part of the things you should put in your CV. You shouldn't put that in your resume. Now, like I said, resume is just summarize your basic skills. But CV is used for academic and research fields. Now, it means that if you are applying to admission or scholarship, it is better. It is recommended you submit your CV and not your resume. Your resume. Because your CV will tell the professors about the research you have done, the areas you have conducted the research. It will tell them the publications you have made and everything. So it will help in deciding whether to accept you to come and do that program or not. But if you just give them your resume and just like that, they may not know much about your publications and all that. So, and like we all know, you know, coming to US and Canada, most of the companies require resume for you to get a job, because US and Canada, they are more of looking for skills. Most organizations, what they need from you is skills. What are you bringing to the table? Unlike probably our own place that we always capitalize on qualification. That's why you see people after bachelor's, master's, PhD, fellowship, all those things. You know, our people, we count so much on qualifications to bring people into organizations. But unfortunately, here in the US, even if you don't have that basic knowledge, but that basic education, but at least everyone has a basic education anyway. But they don't need you to be to have a PhD or a master's before you can occupy some high positions in organizations. What they look at is the skills you have. So that's why resume is more prevalent in the United States and Canada than in other countries, and even in the university, otherwise known as academia. So where you require this resume is more of, where you require this CV is more of academia, in the world of academics. So for those of you planning to submit any application coming in the next fall, try and prepare a CV, not a resume. But if you want to apply for a job, you can possibly use a resume. So now there's a difference between academic CV and professional CV. That's another thing we will look at. We have a professional CV and we have academic CV. Now, academic CV focuses on academic achievements, research, publications, presentations, teaching experience, and grants, awards, and fellowships. Whereas your professional CV highlights just your work experiences, your skills, your accomplishments, and then your qualifications. Like I said before, academic CV is used to apply for admission. Academic CV is used to apply for only admissions and scholarships. But professional CV is what you use to apply for a job. So if you are going for a job, I advise you go for professional CV. As we go down on this, I will show you guys the difference between I will show you guys a template of academic CV and a template of professional CV so that, like I am now, I have these two CVs. I have an academic CV and then I have a professional CV. So anyone that I want to apply to, I'll just bring it out and submit to the organization. Now, academic CV, it emphasizes on your educational background, your degree, the degree you earned, and then the academic affiliations. When you talk of academic affiliations, maybe your publications, the presentations you have done, the conferences you have done, you have presented on, and other things that concerns academics. But this one, I mean, professional CV, it focuses basically on job skills, specific skills. And like I said, the skills you should present in your professional CV is the relevant skill to the job you are applying to. So if you have, for instance, if you're a project manager, if you're applying to a project manager, maybe applying as a project a program administrator or a program manager, what you should present is skills in project management. Even if you have skills in IT or in data or in other places, you can keep those ones aside and present these ones because this is what they are looking for. So your ability to find out or to know what an employer needs is one of the basic things you should plan towards while applying for any job. So academic CV includes the list of publications, like I said, conferences, paper presentations, and then research projects. While this professional CV includes a summary of your work history, the responsibilities, achievements in previous roles, and all that. So now, academic CV emphasizes on academic research, and then it is a structure of your CV. It explains effectively everything about your education, everything about your research experience, everything about your professional experience, publications, and all that. So now I made a kind of juxtapose between academic CV and professional CV. So if you look at my, I don't know how many of you have seen this clearly, or I should, let me try and see if I will present it in a more, okay, let me show this. Okay, yeah. It is bolder here. So here, look at the format of professional CV. This is professional CV if you're looking for a job. So you have your given names. If your name is Okeko Kafo, put it here. Then your title, if you have a kind of title after your name. For instance, you are
GFR.
GFR, or anything. So just put your title here. Then here you can put your address here, and then your phone number, your email address. So why I did this in this way is because you are trying to be professional. You know, a lot of people will come and write phone number here instead of putting this simple. You just need your CV to be professional. So you don't need to write phone number. Everybody knows that this is a symbol of phone. Everybody knows that this is a symbol of email. This one is a symbol of YouTube. Like for instance, you're putting you have a YouTube channel where you're doing something that is specific. I mean, that is very specific to what you're actually looking for. It's not a YouTube channel where you are posting comedy. Don't put that one. If your YouTube channel, you are doing some kind of educational, I mean, for instance, you are applying to an IT company, and in your YouTube channel, you used to teach about IT, you know. So it is good you put that your YouTube channel here so that they can possibly go and watch maybe what you have done in what you're teaching, you know. How have you been doing in that area? And then this one is a symbol of LinkedIn. always link your link. If you have, in fact, if you have not had a LinkedIn account by now, I don't think you are ready to travel abroad, because by now, because LinkedIn is, since I came to the United States, I have come to understand that LinkedIn is like a CV. I had a LinkedIn account before I came to the United States, but when I came to the United States, most of the people that I meet, like anytime I attend conference, the first day they ask me, "Are you on LinkedIn?" I say yes. They'll say, "Okay, can I have your LinkedIn account?" I'll just give them my LinkedIn, the link to my LinkedIn. So if you have not had a LinkedIn by now, you should go and create it, because that is where we have a lot of professional people who can mentor you, and then you get job from there. You get most of the people that tutored me when I was applying for scholarships. I met them, like this Samuel guy that is going to teach us on the last week. I met him on LinkedIn when I was still in Nigeria, and that time I was actually applying for Commonwealth Share Scholarship, and he's a scholar. So I connected with him, and he tutored me in some of the applications, and then how to write the essays and all that. So better go and start searching for that. So now, after then, you have your professional summary. Here, you have to just be concise. Just write 3 to 4 sentences. In few minutes, conclude everything about yourself. Then, here, you talk about your work experience. That should be the first thing that should come after your professional summary. A lot of people will always go and put education. No. Like I said, most of organizations, what they require is your experience. Experience to them is more important than your qualification. Even if you have a first class, but you don't have experience, you are still not within what they want. So put your work experience, and what you just need to put here is just the name of the organization. I think I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna I'm gonna display my professional CV here. One of my professional CV, one of my most recent professional CVs, so that you see. Put the name of organization, the position you held in that organization, and then your responsibilities. After then, you put the second job, you put the third job. If it is up to 5 jobs, just be putting them. But like I said, only relevant job experience. So after then, you can put your education. You can now bring in your education. So this is, when I say education, you put qualification, discipline, month and year of graduation. Month and year. Example, look at the example I did here. I say BSc in management or whatever, May 1999, whatever. So you know your year of this, and then you can put your class of degree. But putting your class of degree, sometimes people shoot themselves on the leg. So this one is optional. Putting your class of degree is optional. You can only put it probably when you have a first class or 2-1. And maybe when you were reading that job requirements, and you know, some job requirements we say we start from must have 2-1, at least 2-1. So you want to be in the, you want to be selected for interview, yeah, right? So you need to just put that you have a 2-1. So that, because some organizations, some people that pull in CVs, they could just be looking for those that, they could just start from those that have 2-1. And you didn't stipulate whether you have 2-1 or you have first class. They could just, even though you have a 2-1, they could just pass you. But if such a thing was not mentioned, I will advise you don't put it there, assuming you have like 2-2 or third class or something that is below this. Why? Because most organizations, especially in Nigeria, let me use Nigeria, and then most of the African countries, they emphasize on this class of degree of a thing. But if you have this, you can just use it, because your CV is where you're selling yourself. It is you are selling yourself in the CV. It's not, you need to brag about yourself there. So any qualification, anything you have made, put it in your CV. Now, another one is your licenses and qualifications. Maybe certifications you have gotten from different organizations, from probably a LinkedIn Learning or Google certificate, or like you are a chartered manager, a chartered HR manager, or you are a chartered accountant. So those ones are certifications. You bring them here because these are also part of the skills required in the industry for you to be in high positions. You can also bring in your honors, probably scholarships you have won, maybe awards you have won, but bring in scholarships that are, for instance, let me give you an instance of the award you can bring in. Maybe in your previous organization, you won the award of the best staff of the year. So you can bring it into your professional CV that in the previous organizations you worked, you won the best staff of the year. So it helps you. Then also you can bring in your volunteering or community development services experiences. You see, white men, they don't joke with this. When I was in Nigeria, I know that when I started applying, I didn't know about this. But when I graduated, I started looking for scholarships abroad. I now saw that these people, if you don't have, if you are not volunteering, is like a culture. Helping people is like a culture. It's not like they don't see it as anything, just like we put it, in our place, we see it as a big deal. They see it as part of, even there are some places that you go to eat. You will be required in most of the places, like in this US now. If you go to eat there, you will need to kind of drop some, some dash people that are serving you some kind of tips. You give them some tips, $10, $5, $2, any amount you can just give out. So it's not, and when you do it, it's not that you are doing them favor. It's part of the culture in the country. So volunteering is one particular thing that makes you stand out. So anything you're doing, try, and if you want to come to the United States or any other country, try and engage in volunteering. You made a first class, you made second class, it is not actually the major thing they are looking at. So then you talk about your other skills, probably other skills you have, your hobbies, and then your references. So let me like share. Let me like share my professional CV. Yeah. So this is my most recent professional CV. And by God's grace, this CV helped me to secure an internship recently. So that is what I'm talking about. This is where I have my phone number. I covered this because you don't need it. So this is where I have my address. This is where I have my YouTube channel, where we are posting some of the things we are doing. Then my LinkedIn channel, the link to my LinkedIn and all that. So look at this professional summary now. You see how I summarized all my skills in just 3 to 4 sentences. So as a certified Google project manager and the human resource practitioner, I bring a wealth of, so this is, you see, this first line, I use it with this first line, you already know that I am a project manager and a human resource practitioner. So, and then I highlighted my basic skills in this area, risk management, stakeholder communication, and all that. So then the second, something that looks like the second paragraph of what I'm trying to say here is where I talked about my time management skills. Most organizations want to know how you manage time, how you meet deadlines. So you need to just put everything, a whole lot of things about you in just 3 pages. I mean, in just three sentences. So going down, my work experience. So you see, the organization that I worked, I'm currently working, you have to start from the current organization, the most recent organization. So this, I work at Department of Public Administration, Northern Illinois University. Now my position, graduate research assistant. Now my responsibilities, a lot of people make this mistake of when they come to their responsibilities, they'll be doing it on bullet points. Point 1, point A, you put maybe present research findings. Point B, you did this. That makes your CV to be too bogus, and it makes your CV to have more pages. And these people don't want much. They don't want too much talk. What they need is to say a summary of what you're doing. So as you can see, just 2 lines, I summarized all my work in this organization. So just explained everything that I'm doing in just 2 lines. But if it is, the regular CV that I used to see, because I have in different occasions reviewed people's CV, and I see people doing a lot of mistakes. You see somebody who just finished BSc, has about 3 or 4 pages. What are you having 3 or 4 pages for? So these are the things. And when you do this, you leave a lot of spaces, because when you do this, you leave a lot of space here. You just have to make use of all the spaces on your CV. Don't leave places blank. So after then, you put the second organization. So this is where I have my second organization. And then this is where I summarized all my work experience, all the things that I did there, responsibilities. It's just a summary of your responsibility. So this one is the third work experience. And this is where I summarized all the things I did there. And this one is the fourth. And this is just where I summarize everything. So after then, going down to the next page, education. This is the highest qualification. You put it first. And then another thing is that people make another mistake of putting, say, masters in view. Well, I don't think it is necessary, because you are trying to control the pages on your CV. Because your work experience, when you talk about your work experience, like for instance, somebody like me who is currently a graduate research assistant at NIU, they already know that you are doing master. And then most times when you are applying, the state qualification, so you don't need to stay. They know that you are actually applying for a job. You are applying for a job, and what qualifies you to apply for that job is that you are actually studying in so university. So they know that you are. So you don't need to come and put masters in view. It is not yet a qualification. Masters in view is not a qualification. They said put your qualification. So I advise you put the certificates you have, not the certificate you are planning to have. So then, licenses and certifications. This is where you put all the certifications you have gotten that are very, very relevant. So then award. I put my award here. I had to put the award. This thing now, if you click it, is a link of the video of when I received this award. Because sometimes when you're putting your award, you can also provide the link, the verified link of that award. Because sometimes they may not have time to ask you about it. You will just, in fact, most times, most organizations, they take their decisions from your CV. Like for instance, I'll give you guys instance. When last week, I held interview with about 6 organizations here in the United States. Before we did this, before I was invited for this interview, I submitted my CV to about 7 of them, and 6 invited me for interview. So it's for me, I feel they have done a lot of research about me. They have looked at this, and that's why most of them. And then at the end of that interview, 3 of them rated me high and offered me this thing. So, but you know, it's an internship program that your department will decide. It's our department that are kind of collaborating with some organizations in the United States to place students on internship for us to gain practical experience of what we are being taught in the class. So in fact, at this juncture, I have to advertise my department. If you are in management, start looking for NIU Public Administration Program. It's one of the programs that helps students to get practical experience of what they are teaching them, of what they are learning in the university. It's one of the departments that make sure that we have, based on research, we have 98% of job availability for students who graduate from our department. So if you have studied public administration, political science, human resource management, anyway, most of the management courses, just think of coming to NIU for the public administration program. It's a nice program and it's a nice experience, because currently we are going to be working with organizations, and while we are studying, we are also working, and we are gaining first-hand experience, and we are being paid too. Yeah, that one is very important. So after that, you talk of your volunteering. So this is where I have my volunteering experiences as a vice president of a professional body of my department, as a founder of this Edu Afri Scholars, then as a senator at NIU and all that. So these are where I put, this is where I put all my experiences, my research, my volunteering experiences, because these are the things I do without requesting for any money. Volunteering is anything they are doing, even though there are some volunteering that people are paid, but volunteering is basically something you're giving willingly without nobody pushing you for it to go to get it or something. So, and you're not actually making some kind of profit from it. So, like I said, these people like it so much, and they give you a lot of things. They give a lot of good opportunities based on that. Most of the scholarships that I have won so far this year, I've won at least no less than 4 scholarships this year. And I always highlight my volunteering experiences, because when writing some of those essays, they will always ask you to talk about your volunteering services. So that is to tell you that volunteering service is a requirement for you to win scholarships and admissions abroad. So these are other skills that I have. Now you can possibly put your skills in bullet points. Why? Because the skills are not the same. The skills are not the same. They are different skills. Like this one, certified project manager with skills in project management execution. The other one is certified human resource practitioner with skills in. So you see, this skill is different from this skill. So you can't put it, you can't make it once, you can't put it in one sentence. You can't put it in, you can't summarize it. So it has to be on bullet point, because these are different skills, and it will make them to go straight to what they want to know. They will just look at them and see if you have the skill that they require. So these are my hobbies, then my references and all that. So this is just 2 pages. And with the 2 pages, just 3 pages. And with the 3 pages, I just have everything about myself in just 3 pages. So I advise you to do your, now this, let me share a sample of academic CV. Yeah, so this one is a sample of academic CV. This academic CV, this is, as you can see, is quite different from the other one. Now, let me point out the differences between the previous one I said and this one. First, here, as you can see, name, surname in bold and capital letters and other names. As you can see in here, your surname came first. Why your surname should come first in academic CV is because you know, if you are referencing people in publications, you reference somebody from the surname, then the initials. So in academics, your surname is kind of more important to them than your initials. If you are if you are in academics and you write a paper and you are referencing somebody, like for instance, my name is Stanley Peter. My name is Stanley Peter Anukocha. If I want to reference myself, I can't say Stanley Peter, or I can't just write Stanley and then maybe PA. I will always do Anukocha, then I put my initials, which is SP. So that is how to, for those of you who are for those of us in academics, you know, after 6th edition, after 7th edition, referencing styles and all that. So that is it. Then after that, you just put your address, phone number, and email address. You don't need to put much here. Now, another thing you should put is your current appointment. For instance, if you are going into academics and you want to show, you need to show that you're already in academics. So you put the current appointment, your education. After your education, then your papers, that is the papers you have published. So I'm just pointing out the differences. Papers, as you can see, I didn't talk anything about papers in the other one because it's not required. The papers you published are with the links and the year of publication. So if you publish a paper, you also try to provide the DOI of the paper, and then the year of publication and all that. So then your honors and the awards with dates, you know, and then your invited seminars, conferences, presentations, where you did all these things, you know, you presented papers, you attended conferences and all that, with dates, venues, and all that. It is very, very important. Then your past experiences and internships. Well, this may not be so important, but you can still put it. That's why I brought it down. As you can see, if it is in the other one, you can bring this one up. But here, you bring this one down, because why you should take this one down is because it is not so relevant. But if you already have a lot of these publications and conferences, you may even decide not to bring in these ones. But if you don't have much of this, you can use this one to make them up. So, and like I said, you bring these ones forward, because not every employer has the time to go down and start looking for other things. You bring anything about experiences. I mean, your work experience, I mean, your research, and then academic work you have done. You bring all of them first before you start bringing. If you still have enough space, or you think that you need to cover other spaces, you can just bring in some other ones. So then your leadership activities, your teaching experiences, your service to humanity, that is volunteering services and all that. And then your hobbies, your skills and all that. So you see, the little difference between these two. So, so when crafting your CV, you just need to do some of these things so that you craft a well-structured CV. Now, finally, there are some tips that I will give you here when applying, when writing, when putting your CV. Now, when you want to, when you, after putting up everything, after writing your CV, so you should engage in individual exercise to reflect. I mean, your this thing should engage in your individual exercise. So, for instance, your CV should be reflective of what you are actually doing. You need to be real in your CV. Don't lie in your CV. This is the kind of tips that I'm giving you. Don't try to impress the employer by saying a lot of things that you don't have. You end up putting yourself on a high jump. So be real. Let it be a reflective of the exact thing you're doing. So don't go and put in a lot of things that are not true about you. Mind you that most of these organizations, most of these employers, they carry out what we call background check. Excuse. They carry out background check on you. And in most cases, when they do those background check, if there is anything that is there is a discrepancy between what you presented in your CV and what they're actually saying, it becomes a problem for you. Just like I always advise people that are applying for visas, especially US visa. When you put, because in your DS1, there's a place they request for your social media platform links. Please, I have always said this and I'm still saying it again. If you know that you are not what you are on your social media platform, don't put it on your CV, I mean your DS160. They do a lot of background check. For instance, you are working as in a bank. Then you come to your DS160, you say that you are working, I mean, you come to your LinkedIn or your Facebook, you are showing, maybe showing maybe working in a restaurant. It's a problem for you. So that's why I always advise people, make sure you put your house in order before going for visa interviews. So in the same thing is applicable here. Don't fake information about yourself. That is one. Secondly, receive personalized guidance from experts or mentors. It is very important. I always use myself as an example. I don't know it all. Some of these things, for instance, nobody taught us how to write a CV when we were in university. Or if someone has taught that if you learned it in your school, you can also let me know. But all I know is that nobody taught me how to write CV. So that is why when I finished school, I started getting guidance from a lot of people who are experts in the area. So always consult with experts in writing your CV. I do not know it all. That is why even up till now, even up till now, I am still consulting. Like for instance, this my CV you saw now, it wasn't like this before I submitted it to those organizations. Before I submitted it to those organizations, I submitted it to NIO Career Services. You know, well, that is why I always praise international schools. Here at NIU, we have a department called Career Services Department. What that department does is to package students, to train you how to write CV, how to write statement of purpose, how to write research, all these things. They are helping students. They advise you. So we have such services here in NIU. So most times we send our CVs to them. They look at it, they make corrections, review it, and send back to us. And then sometimes I have had one appointment with them. I have visited them in their office, and they give me advice. They try to advise me on my career path and all that. But unfortunately, we don't have some of these things in most of our African universities. And this is why we are here. And we are hoping that if by God's grace, we find ourselves back in our country, we try to recommend some of these things because they are required. These are, you see, nobody is teaching what we do in our schools. That's why I get tired of my Nigerian schools, because what they teach us is what is human resource management, what are the functions of human resource, what are all those things. All those things are, oh, nobody will ever ask you that. If you are learning that and you are cramming those things, that's what you're going to use. Better start retraining or restructuring yourself. What they teach here is practical things. So, and look at NIU offering such services, helping you to do your. So this my CV, they helped me to review it and made it so wonderful. That was part of the things that contributed to 6 organizations out of 7 inviting me for interview. So you can see they did a nice work for me. And this is what we are preaching for. This is what we are all clamoring for. So try to get people that will look at your CV. Don't just do it because collaboration also helps. Networking helps. You don't know it all. Nobody knows it all. I don't know it all, like I always say. Like I always tell people, I don't know it all. And that's why most of these programs we are doing, I always try to network with people from other countries, people from other areas, so that they will be able to bring in their own experiences. So, other one, learn techniques to make your CV stand out and leave an impact. So, like I say, like for instance, try to use relevant templates. If you go to most of this online, you will see some you will see a lot of templates, CV templates. Like that academic CV that I used, that I showed you guys earlier. I downloaded that template from one of the professors. Because when I was applying, I wanted to have some kind of something that is of quality. So I got this from one of these professors, a professor in Harvard University. I got some of these professors, their CVs are online. So I got that template from him. So try and go online. There are a lot of CV templates. Although some of them you might need to pay some few dollars to get them, but there are free. There are ones that are free. And I have also tried to share this format. I have tried to share it 1 or 2 occasions, and a lot of people got it and they used it to do their CV. So get a template. Don't just wake up and start writing CV. Get a template. A template will guide you. Most of the things we do here, there are templates. Even when we do a spreadsheet calculations, some of these calculations, some of the data analysis that we do, there are templates. So you now start working on those templates. Like when I did my project management course online. I did a professional course in project management. They always, during practical session, they will always give us a template. They will give us assignments and then give you a template. With that template, you will read those assignments and then you'll be implementing those things, putting those things where they are supposed to be based on what you have learned. So his templates are very, very important. Like I always say, tailor your CV to meet specific requirements and expectations. Don't just wake up and put everything. You just want to have your CV filled up. Put only relevant experiences. So also increase your chances of securing interview and advancing career. Now, one of the ways you should increase your chances of getting to interview stage. You see, there are things you don't need to put in your CV. I mean, if you look at those CV, you see that there are a lot of things I didn't put there. For instance, your biograph, maybe your age, your data, your personal data, personal details. People put it a lot in CV, but based on recent things that are happening, it is no longer required. It's not, you shouldn't put them. Not that they are not good, but you need to increase your chances of coming to interview. For instance, there are some organizations that may have some kind of age cap, although they don't mention it openly, because, for instance, in US law, forbids organization to discriminate against someone based on age or race or country or origin or sexual orientation. These things, you don't have any rights to deprive someone of a job he or she is qualified for based on all these things. But some organizations may have some of these things, you know, like for instance, some organizations they may want somebody who is not married. So you went there and wrote married, maybe your marital status, you wrote married. But in their organization, they don't want people that are probably, they feel that people that are married, they will be having a lot of excuses. Let me go and breastfeed my child. Let me go for school runs and all that. So, but because the law does not require, the law forbids people from making people from depriving people of their job opportunity just based on their marital status or whatever. They will not bring it out, but it is there. It may be there, but you don't know. So in order to put yourself on advantaged stage, just leave it at that level. Just don't put those things. Put something that are relevant. Don't put your age, your orientation, whatever. Because even when you're filling the online form, for instance, most of the organizations we apply here, we applied when I was applying for internships. I filled online forms. And during online form, there is a place they will ask date of birth. There's a place they will ask. So since you have filled those ones, you don't need to put it on your CV. Why? Because some organizations may not even go and look at the things you filled. Some will just go and download, because in that application, there's a place you upload your CV. Some may just go and download your CV, and they may not actually go and look at some of those things you put there. They might just use your CV too. So that's why it is not always. And then some organizations will require that you send your CV through email. So different organizations have a way of their recruitment process and all that. So to put in order not to put yourself in a disadvantaged stage, you just have to remove some of these things that could make them not to bring you in. So, I think with that, we have come to the end of this. So I believe I have been able to, if it is when we are doing quiz, we say I've been able to convince you not to confuse you, that these doctors are more important than teachers. So I believe I have been able to pass some kind of information concerning how you structure your CV. Most applications you do, your CV makes you to stand out. So I advise you. So I'm going to share some of these templates. Probably I will share them on our WhatsApp group platform. You can use them. You can also decide to use your own template. I will just share some of these templates, and then and even this slideshow, these slides, I will also share them. So I would like to leave the floor open for questions and contributions. I don't know, Linda, are you still there? I'm handing the microphone over back to you. Thank you. Linda, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you have the mic. So now it's questions, reflections, actions. People want to reflect, people want to add, because I know that I have some other people here who may even know more than me. So if someone has something more to add or to remove, this is time for it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Stan. It was quite a very educative, like, should I say, you had a lot of package all in one. So please, I think we have a lot of questions at the chat panel. Yeah. So one of the question is, if you are or were a school teacher, can you put that as work experience in your CV?
Okay, some of these questions, I will be leaving them to some of my colleagues, like Chibike is here. So Chibike, I have talked too much. You can also assist me.
Okay. Let me just say something. Okay. Is he around?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, that's so great. Okay, please, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Linda, for coming in. And of course, it's actually, I'm very delighted to be a part of the program. And I would say the whole essence of the program is gradually taking shape. Thank you also, Stanley, for your time and also for the valuable information you presented. But still, I would like to mention a couple of things, and I guess some of my observations would probably cover some of the questions you would that may be raised. Particularly, I would say that the approach to CV and resume is a bit flexible, and it depends also on national or regional systems. What do I mean by that? Say, for instance, if you're applying to Europe, it's highly recommended. It's highly recommended you use the Europass CV format. Then again, if you're applying to certain countries, certain national systems, they would their academic platforms would require a particular type. But then it all boils down to the essence of the application you're making. But as a general rule, and as far as I know, it's always good to align your CV to certain keywords and phrases that are part of the objectives of the program. So in that sense, you would put in those keywords that the ATS, that the applicant tracking software or system, could easily notify and then capture. And that gives a sense, or that gives credibility to the things you've written on your CV. And again, the CVs has to be formatted to a particular style. And that's why I'm going to recommend some certain sites that you could use. Among these sites, you have Canva Education. So you could use, these are free websites where you could get your templates. I will drop some of these links on the chat. You have LaTeX, and then I've mentioned Europass already. So I will join these links. These are links that I'm very sure of because I've used them through experience, and I could vouch for how credible they are to be used. but still don't take my word for it. Like Stanley mentioned earlier, always do your research. None of the things we are saying here is like the law of the Medis and the Paces. That is like we are not meant to consume these things hook, line, and sinker, but to also do your own research. So I'll provide you with these links, and very quickly we could get the questions. But once again, thank you for being here. And again, yeah, before I forget, always project your skills. Yeah, this is important. I mean, there are issues about how to present professional and academic, but still, either way, your skills are important. And from some of these templates, you would see where to actually get the skills. I don't think we have so much time. Yeah, but still, if you look at the links, these are direct links to the templates. So if you look at some of the links I will share on the chats and also on the group later on, you would see very clear examples of what an academic CV should be, as well as what a professional CV should look like. And you would also see differences between a resume and a CV. The CV can be longer, but a resume is usually short. It's like 2 to 3 pages max, and it's directly for job applications. So I think I've said the much I can in a short while. But meanwhile, thank you so much for your participation, and we are looking forward to your questions.
Thank you so much. Is that good luck? Please, I would like to know if you can address the question. If you are or were a school teacher, can you put that as work experience? Thank you.
Yes. If you're applying for an educational course, it very much aligns. And again, it depends on the course you're applying for. But again, this can be done in a variety of ways. Let's say you're a school teacher and you have ambition to, let's say, apply to a different course. Of course, your statement of purpose would have to capture why that transition is necessary. But still, if you're including that in your CV, you have to put like maybe some dimensions of your teaching activity that correlates with issues of public health. So you could, for instance, say you've been teaching health sciences for, let's say, from let's say junior secondary 3 to junior secondary 1. So you could mention some of the topics you've handled in that direction. You could say, okay, you've also coordinated Red Cross activities, teaching them personal hygiene, stuff like that. Doing maybe community awareness with the students. So you need to capture some of these points in your CV, and you capture them in phrases. So the phrase part of it is what you can learn how to phrase some of these skills, some of your activities. And I think a great example of a tool that helps you know how to phrase is the Europass CV, for example. So for instance, you could go to Europass site and you'll see how they structure their CVs. So you see how they use the phrases, how to phrase your activities. So it is very important also. So I think that's much I can say about that really, but it's very well aligned.
Thank you so much. And we have another question, like the person wants to know if there are other relevant job experiences that one could include in a CV. The person gave an example of someone that has worked in hotel all of the person's life. Is it safe to include such in the CV?
Yeah. Like I said, it depends on how you phrase it. And again, also on the application you're making. For instance, you can't be applying for an engineering course and you're talking about hotel activity. I mean, you could still add that just to, depend on how flexible the application is, or just to also to compile a, should I say, to show how you've navigated between employments. So it's still okay. Like for example, take myself for instance. So this is my navigation, and I've always cited this so everybody sees the number of years I've been in employment. I've worked in the banking industry, so it's there in my CV as a financial customer service, and then a little bit of IT support is there in my CV. So it depends on how you. Even when I do my academic CV, you could just see the navigation from my schooling to my first job to the internship I did sometime to another job to yet another program. So it's okay for them to see the flow of how you've navigated through the years. Because again, depends on some role or some program you are applying for. They could ask, why was there this gap? A personal experience, I was applying to WACWISA, which is a program in Ghana. And I was asked why there was a gap between my the period I finished school to the period I was applying for a master's. And the interviewer was like, why not a PhD? Because she saw from my CV, the gap was there. And I mentioned, yes, that I've been in employment. But what was missing? My employment, some of my employment details was not captured in the CV. So she was seeing a gap of, I think, about 4 years. And within that period, I was working elsewhere. And I was just saying, okay, I'm transiting from BSc to an MSc in 4 years. So she was curious. So it still depends on the orientation of the interviewer. But generally, this has taught me that there's nothing wrong with that. And of course, when you go to the templates that I would send to you, you would see a lot of ways to present your academic and professional CVs. But any other thing, if you have any other concerns, you could also meet us in the group or personally or otherwise, and we can really sort out and go through your navigations. But you should show strength, you should show your skills. If you're working in the hotel, it's good. So show competence in customer service, show how you've taken on challenges in logistics. So you could mention some critical keywords that aligns to the objective of the program. Because every program has objective and goals. So they could say they are looking for these stats, maybe knowledge of these stats, maybe knowledge of CRM, customer relationship management, and use of the such software. So you could say, yes, in this position, you've been able to utilize such hospitality software, such programs, CRM, procurement softwares, you've done such. So mention some things, capture them in phrases and keywords that are ATS compliant, and you're good to go.
Yeah, so in addition to what Chibuike said, see, if you are most of the things you say in your CV, you have already said. I mean, most of the things in your CV, you have already captured some of them on your cover letter. There is also something we call cover letter, and you try as much as you can to connect your cover letter to your CV. You cannot say A in your cover letter, you're saying B in your CV. Just like I said earlier, just like the person that asked a question, if I worked in a hotel, am I supposed to put it on my CV? Don't put hotel if you are going for, let's say, IT position. What connection? However, if there is anything like IT you did in that hotel, you can bring it up. You can bring it up on your what do you call it? Your paper, cover letter. Yes, because most times your cover letter should take some of the things that your CV couldn't take, because you are trying to handle time. You are trying to control your CV, not to be too jam-packed with a lot of information. So, like when in my distance there was a place here that I made mention of some of the things that are not in my CV, which connects to what I'm actually applying to. So that is why you just have to be very careful about some of the information you put forward. And you have to be discreet about it. Anyone you're bringing, anyone that is not relevant, you can just leave it. But the ones that are relevant, and then at the same time, if you're able to connect some things together, it makes it good. If you're able to connect some of the things you did probably in that hotel to that particular job or admission or whatever you are applying to, it also helps. So all these things are all about how you're able to navigate, how you're able to maneuver things. That's why that is why it's even advisable for you to, most times in this US, they don't always they are not stereotyped people like our, like most of what we have over there, that if you studied this probably accounting, you must do masters in the same accounting, you must do a PhD, you follow the same line. No, you can probably digress a bit in your academics, in your career, but you can only do this if you're able to connect, if there are some relevant work experiences you have had in that area you're going to study, and then you're able to now connect it with undergraduates. So these are the things, that's why you need to think and think and think and think before you present or bring out your CVs, and then you apply for anything. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a question here on if we could include our awards from the undergraduate days, maybe from faculty or department or student association to the CV. And you could take that with, is the Facebook page necessary of a detail in CV? Mr. Goodluck, Mr. Stan, who wants to take that?
Okay. Like I always say, your Facebook, your social media. Okay, she's trying to know whether if the things on Facebook are relevant to
your Facebook page, just the way you were able to introduce for the professional CV, that people could add their YouTube page, LinkedIn. So I think that's where the question comes from. If the Facebook could also serve as a profile.
Yes, I said it before. I said it when I was talking. I said, if you have not had LinkedIn account or some of the, go and have it now, because most organizations, I'm saying this out of my experience when I applied for internships here in the United States. They have a room. They have, when you go online to apply, there is a space where you put your social media platforms. And that is why I always advise you, if you are careless with your social media platform, you need to start being careful with it now. Because when you start applying for scholarships and admissions and all this, they will be requesting for it. That is why I have said it. What you are doing, your job should reflect your social media platform. If you are there, after there is a place in social media where you put your positions, your work experience and all that. So if in your CV, I said it earlier, you said you are a lecturer, but in your social media, you say you're a freelancer, or you say you are saying another thing, or you're a musician. And most of your posts, because what they check is not just your profile, they also check your posts. What are you posting? Are you, if for instance, if most of you that are following me on LinkedIn and then other places, you find out that what I'm posting is mostly educational issues, academic issues, scholarships, awards, all those things. So if any organization now carries any background check on me without telling me, they will see that what I told them on my CV is what is obtainable. So my answer to that question is your Facebook and your social media, other social media platforms are very, very, very important. So, is there any other? I think that question is 2 in 1 or so.
Yeah. Aside from the Facebook, there's someone else who asked about including the awards from undergraduates, be it from faculty, department, or student association.
Of course, definitely. They are very, very, very important. If you're applying for admission, you should talk, because it shows that when you were in undergraduate, you were not just good in book, you were also doing other things. Like, for instance, when I was applying for admissions here in the United States, I won a lot of awards in my undergraduate. I won the best graduating student award. I won the youth ambassador. I won there was even the one I won in volunteering. I put all of them, showing that I am not just in academics, but I'm doing other things. I put all those awards there. I also, like, for instance, here in NIU, I am currently holding a position of a senator representing graduate students. It is in my CV, because already as in that position, I am attending Senate meetings. I am passing bills. So with all these things, it means that you have actually done something outside academics, and they are very, very important for your career development. I'm also a vice president in my department as a student, one of the professional bodies called International City and Management Association. So these are the things I belong. These are the clubs. They are like clubs that I belong to, voluntary clubs that I belong to, where I am volunteering and giving out my services free. So if you have those awards, please put them forward on your CV. They will help you. I am talking out of experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So someone here said that that he has 4 years of experience with professional research and teaching experience. Will it be okay to build a CV of like 3 pages, like with all of these experiences of 8 years? Is it okay? Is it possible?
Yeah, it's very possible. And like I said, my best recommendation would always be to first try to understand the program that you're applying to. But then as a general norm, take for instance, I always recommend the Europa CV because it is very well detailed. And of course, the absolute recommendation would be, okay, maybe not absolute, but my recommendation would be to always sectionalize your CV. Sectionalize your CV. Have categories for skill, have categories for education, have categories for education and training, for awards, for leadership, for research and publications. So it captures all the CV should just capture your trajectory, so to say. And this recommendation I'm giving you is based on first the Google recommendation on how to build CVs, and of course the Europass formats. I always recommend these 2 points because these are industry standards. And again, Europass is somehow strongly academic, but still some of the links that I sent, I keep referring you guys there because you would see clear differences between how an academic CV is and how a professional CV is. Most time, professional CV deals on projecting your strengths, right? And then the academic deals more on talking about your education profile and how you've grown in the system and how eligible you are to actually attend the next qualification. Yeah, so I think that is the much I can say of it, but still, yes, capture whatever things you have, capture them in different categories. Capture them in different categories, yeah.
And someone wants to know if we could add the a passport photograph for a professional CV, if it's okay.
Yes, it is. It is.
It's okay.
Mm.
And another person is asking that in a situation whereby they don't have any published article at the time of application, will the person's application be competitive since an academic CV is strong on research experiences?
Yes, it's going to be competitive. It's not a matter of your research, but I can tell you that from what I've observed personally, that it is a matter of your skill. What can you bring to the table? What are you offering? I mean, you're a student, but you have to show that first you can actually complete the study based on having the required skills to also complete the studies. For instance, if you are going for anything, usually in the sciences, what they want to see is your skills. And it has gone beyond the wet lab skills of saying you did something in the lab. They also want to see programming skills, some IT competencies. So these are the things that actually apply. And then again, if you are in the management and sociology and administration, they're looking to see how you've undertaken tasks in project management, project administration, community service development, practical instances. So it may not really be having pictures to show on Facebook or tag on LinkedIn. It can also be projects that you've done that are connected to maybe citing some infrastructure somewhere, but it has a recognizable link, or it was published in a magazine and the magazine is digital or something. But basically, I'm just trying to say that this is not it's not really a priority. I've seen guys that have gotten awards even without having publication, but still publications are good because if it's a competitive scholarship, then it's part of the scoring. It informs part of the scoring and the weight of the scoring, but it's not really a priority or compulsory, so to say.
Okay, thank you. And someone is also asking if thesis is the same as research experience.
Sorry, come again.
Is the thesis like thesis? Is it the same as research experience?
It's part of it.
Yeah,
it's part of your research experience because aside your thesis, you could have some other research experiences. So it's part of your research experience.
And
exactly. If you don't have, for instance, I always recommend if you don't have any published articles, you can use your undergrad thesis. They call it project. Or if you're going for PhD and you don't have any thesis, you can use your probably your master's thesis or whatever as your articles and then research. It shows your research experience. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And someone is also asking that in a situation whereby someone has a third class, could the person compete in securing a scholarship, especially if the person already had progressed in terms of career? And if not, what are other options that the person could try to harness?
Yeah, third class is possible. It's possible because I've seen from a couple of people sharing their experiences that yes, they had a third class and they were able to get into some scholarships. Yes, as much as the scholarship criteria or the program criteria does not say that it is limited to first class or 2-1 applicants, apply, you can as well still get the scholarship. Your duty is to apply, and the program or consortium's duty is to accept or reject your application. But what you should do better is to project what you've been doing aside your third class. So that entails what have you done in areas of, say, for instance, community development, in areas of, let's say, doing one or two external projects, let's say, building your IT competencies, proficiency in language, writing additional tests like GRE. So these are compounding our efforts that could actually add more weight to your application, and of course your SOP. So yeah, so these things is a compound effect that actually gives you such merits if you are coming with a third class.
Yeah. In addition to what he said, if you have a third class, I will advise you to go and start doing some of these professional courses online, like data analysis. There are a lot of them online you can engage yourself in. These things will equip you and will enhance your skills. Like I told you guys, some of these white men, they don't look at class of degree. I am talking out of experience. They don't look at class of degree. What they look at is the skills. What are you bringing to the table? What are you doing for the society? These are the things they look at. But that doesn't mean that first class and second class will not sail, or that most of them don't emphasize on it. They emphasize on it. Let it not be that you relax and say, oh, since they don't emphasize on it. Like, for instance, Commonwealth is stipulated 2-1 is the list. I think Chevening also has such. Some of these scholarships that, like that Commonwealth, I know they stipulate it. So, and also some admission, like for instance, in NIU, my school, if you don't have a certain threshold, I mean your GP is not up to a certain threshold, you can't be admitted. So that doesn't, for the fact that we are saying you can apply, does not mean that they don't emphasize on it. They emphasize on it, but what we are trying to say is that they don't make it a major criteria, as in most of they don't put it forward. That's even why some programs accept people with HND. You can eat some at least I have seen one person or two or three persons here in the United States who came to do their masters with HND. So, but unlike in Nigeria, where if you have HND, you can't go for masters. You need to do some kind of a PGD or something before you be able to do masters. But here, with your HND, you can do. The only thing you need to do is to do a kind of what they call a West evaluation. Combine your OND and your HND together, it becomes one result, and then they take out the irrelevant ones and bring in relevant ones, and before you know it, you have a very nice transcript. So it works. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So another question is for students who are interested in master's scholarship and had one time or the other during their course of undergraduate participated as student union, government, student departmental association, churches, and all the likes. When preparing CV, where do you expect them to put all of these activities? Is it under their experiences or under community services?
Under volunteering services, under community development services. Under volunteering, that is where you put those ones.
And someone is asking that what one do in a situation whereby the person does not have any work experience?
Chibike.
Yeah, I I thought I've responded already, but yeah, I can give you the recommendation from Google. One of the Google programs I've attended, and also some of the courses I finished, and they always recommend that you should sell your skills. And it is logical enough. You should talk about, you don't have work experience, so what have you been doing all this while? So you could talk about how you've talked. Sorry, give me a minute, just a minute. Let me close out something. Yeah, so yeah, I believe you can hear me properly now. So you could talk about, for instance, your projects you've done. So first of all, project the skills. Say you have social skills. So for instance, you've been working in sciences, so you, as a microbiologist, so you could say you've been, you have such skills in enzymology, enzyme purification, extraction, separation, use of PCR techniques. So you could mention those as your skills, project your skills, put in the category for the skills first, and say you have these skills in PCR, gel extraction, data analysis, all those things. Put the skills category first. Then later in subsequent section, you could now mention projects you worked in, talk about your research experiences to fill in the categories, right? So it's logical, if you don't have work experience, you could just cite your education and skills and projects you've affiliated yourself with, your leadership, your award, community development, and a couple of other things. Even if you have a 2-page or 3-page CV from that, it makes sense. It's quite understandable.
Yeah, so in addition to that, I wanted him to respond first. In addition to that, you can talk about the course that interests you so much that you've done in your undergraduates. Like, for instance, when we were applying for this internship that we got a few days ago, one of the things that was required is your writing skills. So, and one of the things that I submitted was one of the assignments that I submitted in class, one of the class assignments. So I looked for one of the assignments that I scored 100 over 100. That was the assignment that I submitted to them. So you can talk about some of these courses that you did in your undergraduates, which has equipped you with so skills. So this is how you can also cover up with work experience.
Okay, for me, I would like to give some input on what you had said. So far, you had spoken so well, Mr. Goodluck and Mr. Stan. But one thing I would want to say is, when you want to draft your CV, first of all, you ask yourself, what have you been doing all your life? For my kind of person, I like to sell activities that have occurred mainly around 4 years to the time I'm writing the CV, 10 years to that time. So I just start with, okay, 10 years before this time is around 2012. So I just put that down, and then I draw a map. Every year, I just draw a map. I just write 2012, 2013, just like that to the very end. And then I asked myself, what was I doing in 2012? Okay, I was an undergraduate student. So in that 2012, there's a lot of things I'm going to draft out that must have happened. Maybe some organizations I had joined during the course of my undergraduate study, or maybe some beautiful courses or workshop or conferences or seminar or program organized at the faculty level I had attended. I put them just like a map. So it looks like a vehicle, like it looks like a car carrying passengers. So during the course of my 2012, I already have some passengers inside my car, which are maybe some things I did. That was when I started my undergraduate. When I started, there were some positions I held in the hostel and all the likes of them. And the position I held in the hostel, it had to do with health. So being a science student, mainly in the biological sector, something concerning health is important when it comes to me, So I have all of those in my vehicle until I get to 2023. So that's a beautiful way to come about it. So you're a teacher. If you're applying for a course, let me say you were teaching mathematics as a teacher and you're applying for engineering, please, you can sell yourself. Like, okay, let's go a little bit romantic in this now. Okay, I'm a lady and you want to approach me and you want to talk and you want to maybe get me to be your babe, right? How will you start your lines? When you want to start your lines, you would want to tell me maybe you work here or you do this or you do this. That ability to sieve what to tell me is the same ability you need to put when coming up with your CV. You would want something that when the person sees it, you don't need to say too much, but the person says, okay, yes, I need to give this person a try. Most of the time, for me, I tell people that CV is just to get the audience. Like they should be able to call you for an interview. That is CV. That is cover letter. Okay. So if you work in an hotel, regardless of what you want to go for, what do you do while working in an hotel? Do you have experiences with electrical stuff? Were you the one in charge of the buses that brought the drinks in? So you could look for something. It could just be one thing that could sell you. So you give that thing a title, maybe transportation staff in so hotel. Do you get how to put it now? So you don't have to put hotel man. No. You could put, maybe if you are going for an IT course and you worked in an hotel, are you in charge of the communication? Maybe when the visitors or the persons who come to use your hotel are to call for maybe assistance or one of those thoughts, do you have any business with the communication? Give it a title: communication organizer, communication staff. Now you are selling yourself from the point of working in an hotel to becoming something relevant in the IT. So you are not lying, but you're just trying to define what you did, giving it a name. That's what I call it. But ensure that you know what you're giving the name to, because during the course of the interview, you might be asked. Okay, so when it comes to, like, some of these things really help. I could remember an interview I did, and a huge part of my interview was focused on my hobby, which is badminton. Like, because this professor loves that sport. Like, I spent more than, should I say, 90% of the time discussing badminton. So I tell people sometimes you don't have to be too professional. Try to get a name for something. Try to put a name to something. Try to define something. Just put it in a way that the same way you would want to tell the beautiful lady, and then she just, within one or two sentences, she's, okay, you can have my number. The same, that skills, okay? Put that skills into writing your CV. See what is important, okay? And it's going to go through fine. So we have another question of, if someone doesn't have any published paper and his undergraduate CV is not relevant to master's program he or she is applying to, what will he put under the publication section? Okay, when we talk about research experiences and publication, it's just an ability to have a constructive, a creative write-up. Okay, regardless of what you are going to study, you would have to write. You would write maybe for test, assignment, pen paper, proposal. So the ability to have a constructive write-up, a concise and constructive write-up, that is what your publication showcases. Okay, for me, my master's and my undergraduate are two different things. My undergraduate is in biology, my master's is in engineering. Okay, so, and I included my publication. That is to tell you that I am a good writer. I have that communication skills. Aside from orally speaking, I'm also good in the write-up. Okay, so that's what your publication does. It's not telling them that you have the skill of maybe coming to do the kind of lab work they do. You can't compare the equipment we have back home to what you are going to meet if you are traveling out. So what they want to see is, okay, these candidates can write, this candidate can be able to put one or two thoughts together, this candidate is creative, that is, or productive as well. That's what your publication does. Okay. Another person also asked this question: does admission committee review old CV used to apply to a program, or a new CV submitted for the same program different years? No, do they use to apply for a program to a new CV submitted for the same program different years? I don't get you. Do you mean if they compare CVs? Like if someone repeats a CV, like try to use someone else's CV? I don't know if that's what you're trying to drive at, but if that's what you're trying to drive at, no matter what you are doing, just know that plagiarism is a big crime. Like it's a problem. You wouldn't just want to get into it. Like it's a nightmare. Don't even try it. Whatever you are doing, your name is different, so try to write differently. No two persons can have the same story, okay? Plagiarism is not something you would want to get into, okay? So I am Linda. Mr. Stan is Stan. We can never have the same CV, no matter what. Even if we're giving birth to by the same mother and we went through the same schools, we can never have the same CV. So when they say templates, they just mean copy the structure, copy the pattern, but not the content. Okay?
Yeah, yes. In addition to this, you see, I have always told people, there are a lot of people that have come to my DM, they ask for my statement of purpose that I used to apply when I won the scholarship that I'm currently enjoying in the United States. I've always told them that I don't like sending SOP. I can send you a format of SOP. However, if I do send you my SOP and you go and copy it and send, you are shooting yourself on the leg. Because let me tell you something, whether you like it or not, these people keep records. These people keep records, and you never can tell where. I tell you what, you guys, once there was recently, or was it last year? Yeah, a guy who came here for his master's. He has arrived in United States and he has started his program for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks to his program. It was discovered that the SOP which he submitted was actually another person's SOP. He only changed his name and submitted it. This guy did not only that they rusticated him from the university, they deported him back to his country. I don't want to mention his country, you are in the public. But it is somebody that came from our place, as in the African country. So please, avoid using somebody's work. You can't take somebody's work as your work. I can share SOP. Yes, I have been sharing. Sometimes I share SOP, my personal statement. I share the document, as in all I have written about me. But what I have written about me is about me and not about you. I'm only sharing it with you just for you to use it as a template, as a template for your own. Compare and contrast. Don't take my work as your work. You are shooting yourself on the leg. Yeah, so I think we have exhausted our time. Is there Linda?
Okay, yeah, I think the person had sent the message, as in the question. So the person wants to know, like, he had applied in 2019 using a particular CV, and in 2020, all he did was just to reframe the CV. I think maybe changing his name and adding some recent things. So he wants to know if they would review the old one that he had used in 2019 and also use it in judging him in 2020. I don't think they have that time.
No. See, yes, of course. Nobody. See, let me tell you something. CV is a live document. My CV as of 2019 is not the same with my CV now. And my CV now can never be the same with my CV of next year. So CV is a live document. It's a live document. What I mean by a live document is that it's something that is being updated from time to time. In fact, the moment I leave NIU and want to now probably move into some other organization or whatever I want to do, I must have to update my CV. The one that I use to apply for the internships that I'm about to start now are different from the ones that I used when I applied for other internships. So your CV, the only thing that he's saying there that I don't understand why he said changing his name. I don't know why you would change your name.
He said refrain. He didn't
Okay.
say change name. I'm just giving that as an instance.
Okay. If I thought he was saying he's changed his name. Your name can never be changed. So, but you can restructure your CV as any time, because you see what we have taught now, all the things we have taught you guys now, they are on a daily basis. As years goes on, there are new things coming up. I tell you something. This academic CV, the format that I used when I applied to NIU is no longer, I won't use that same format when I'm now applying for PhD. I will have to use the one that are current. So that's why I say CV is a live document that you update from time to time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think this is already 2 hours on the dot. Like there's that time we're supposed to end. And yeah. I want to specially thank our speaker, Mr. Senator Stanley. Yeah, it's good to put that respect. Yeah, truly Senator, a mobilizer. Yeah.
Remember,
okay,
promise.
So yes, I will. Thank you so much for the insightful speech talk. Yeah, it was so much. And also thank you so much, Mr. Goodluck, for answering the questions and for also giving us some wisdom and knowledge. Yeah, it was so refreshing too. So as we round up, I would like to invite Mr. Odika Promise to please give us the closing remark.
Okay. Good day, all.
Yeah.
My name is.
Yes, you're audible. Yes, you
okay.
are.
My name is Odike Promise Carlo. I'm from Abia State, Nigeria, and I'm an intended student of Algonquin College, Ottawa, Canada. And I'm happy to be here. I really want to commend the efforts of the organizers of this program. You guys are wonderful. You guys are really wonderful. You guys are amazing. You guys are doing a lot of good to us, we Africans. You guys are remembering us. I've been receiving a lot of testimonies from our WhatsApp group, many from Ghana, Nigeria, and other African countries. Man, you guys are too wonderful. I eulogize your efforts. I say thank you. And pertaining to this program, I have been able to learn a lot. Particularly, I've been able to learn a lot. At least I have learned the difference between a resume and a CV, that a resume is more concise to a CV. Thank you for that. So lovely. And other things I have learned about, I must commend your effort. Specifically, Mr. Wisdom, Senator Stanley, and my dear sister, I don't know your name. I must say thank you for your time, at least leaving your busy schedules to come here and teach us. You guys are wonderful. Kisses to you guys. Say thank you. Say God bless you in all your endeavors. On behalf of all of us here, I say thank you. May God bless you all. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So this is the end of the workshop. Yeah, the seminar skill acquisition program for today. And please tune in on today for the next program.
Sorry, wait, before we close, please, I always say this, you can, those of you that are coming to my DM and the DM of some of my colleagues whom we are doing these things together with, please help us to help you. If you come to my DM to ask for anything, just go straight to the point. We don't have all the time in the world to start exchanging pleasantries. You know, people always come, hello, sir, and then they will go and sit down. Or hi, all those things. Yes, it's good you will come up with those things, but I would like, if you want to say hello or hi, my name is this, I'm looking for this, go straight, tell me, so that, because see, let me tell you guys, I most times when I come to my WhatsApp, I see 50 messages. I go to my Facebook, I see 80 messages. I go to my LinkedIn, it's one person, no, and I have other things that I'm doing. A lot of people chat me up. So to respond to all those messages, most times I take up to 2 hours responding to messages. So please, try to go straight to the point. And then another thing, this program we have just started today. Next week we have another one. Next week we're going to do it until July 8th. So you people being here will make us to come again to do it. But I'm happy that you guys turned up for this. So it will energize us to come again next week. Next week is going to be another round of training, research proposal. And research proposal is one of the most important things you need to know about, what to write in research when you are applying for a master's or PhD. So research proposal is different from the whole thesis. I mean, a whole thesis is not the same. So we have a very qualified and a very wonderful person in that area who will handle research proposal next week. Yeah. Over to you, Linda.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. Please don't forget, next week, it's like a full package and the speaker is one of a kind. Yeah. It's one of a kind. So it promises to be amazing. So do well to log in next week and you will enjoy that. You will appreciate that you had joined the section.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And please, if your questions were not answered, in case, please, you could actually send it to the WhatsApp group, or maybe you still have more questions, you could send to the WhatsApp group. If you want to join the group, do well to contact Mr. Stan or Mr. Goodluck. They will add you to the group.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, bye.
Thank you, bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.